Kala Wadla Yahweh Shem Shaiba Shem Kakudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule and teach well. Peace and salutations to the brothers on the four corners of this earth, pushing this word in truth and in sincerity. Risking their lives more now so than ever to do so. Brother Mandana Tazaki with another short video. This article here, but I posted this in the group chat. You know what I mean? So we dive straight into it. Alright, it says more than half of Haitians still facing acute food insecurity. Government and partners urge intensified efforts to safeguard progress from the FAO Regional Office for Latin America and the Caribbean. Port-au-Prince, I believe that the capital of Haiti, yeah, it is. According to the latest update from the Integrated Food Security Phase Classification, released by the National Food Security Coordination, 5.83 million people, or 52% of Haiti's population, has currently experiencing acute food insecurity, PC phase 3 or above. This marks an increase, IPC phase 3 or above. This marks an increase of 130,000 people compared to the previous analysis, September 25, 2025, confirming a continued deterioration of the situation. Now, what I want to say is 5.83 million is roughly 5 times the amount of people having the population of Trinidad and Tobago. So, last time I checked, it was 1 point something million. I don't know if we hit 2 million, but yeah. Right. This is approximately 5 times the amount of people, well, the population of Trinidad and Tobago. And they are experiencing, you know what I mean, or about to experience a famine. Right? It says of these, more than 1.8 million, I think that is the numbers for Trinidad population, Trinidad and Tobago population, 1.8 or somewhere around there. Right? 1.8 million people are in the emergency conditions, IPC phase 4, and require immediate humanitarian assistance, thanks to joint efforts by the government and its partners, including the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, FAO, and the World Food Programme. Around 200,000 people have moved out of this critical phase compared to last year. However, this progress remains fragile amid rapidly growing humanitarian needs. Despite the challenging context, Hamel Gazou, however it's pronounced, coordinator of CNSA, expressed cautious optimism. While the situation remains deeply concerning, ongoing efforts to improve governance, particularly through the establishment of Interministerial Committee on Food and Nutrition Security, provide a strong mechanism to better mobilize resources and coordinate actions toward gradually improving food security for the population. As the government responsible for monitoring food security and informing decision making, the CNSA emphasizes that sustained resource mobilization is essential to track developments and deliver life-saving assistance, preventing further deterioration. So it getting worse since last year, September 2025, right? That what I say. A crisis driven by violence, economic pressures, and climate shocks. Now, this is the part I really want to get into, because this has very similar to what's going on in we country right now. No more, from what I observed so far, no more of the climate shocks per se, but economic and violence, yeah. Right, it's a violence linked to armed groups, both in urban and rural areas, has displaced more than 1.4 million people, so almost the population of our country. It continues to disrupt food supply chains, restrict farmers' access to their land, and drive up prices for basic goods, eroding household purchasing power. These pressures are compounded by global economic instability, everybody facing that, including rising fuel prices, linked to conflict in the Middle East, right? So even Trinidad, right, not affecting everybody though, to be honest with you. Increased transportation, probably not as bad just yet, but you know what I mean, when by the time we reach here, it's going to be bad. Right? Increased transportation and agricultural production costs are directly affecting food availability and affordability, further deepening the vulnerability of Haitian families. Recurring climate shocks are also undermining agricultural production. Hurricane Melissa, which struck the southern regions in October 2025, caused significant losses of livestock and crops, severely affecting rural livelihoods and national food production. Mm, well, yeah, that is just the gist of it. Right? The gist of it is they're looking for aid amongst whatever groups, governmental groups, and so on and so forth. And even though the numbers reach out of a very bad place or a very critical zone, it's still a critical matter because it could go right back. Right? So, nevertheless, this is like a, well, if you're in the know, you know that Haiti is the tribe of Levi. The Dominican Republic is the tribe of Simeon. Alright? If you are Indian or if you're aware, but yeah. So the Levites and them are facing this here. Alright. So we go get some precepts. Alright. There are three precepts just down here. So into the Matthew 24, verse 7. It says, "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows." I think Japan experienced a high magnitude earthquake just this week. What it is, Tuesday, yeah. Just this week, or over the previous week and some of it. You know what I mean? But yeah, so all these is the beginning of sorrows. Half the population in a food crisis, and this is the beginning of sorrow. So imagine when it's the climax of the sorrow. How devastated the place and the people are going to be. Imagine, you know what I mean, if you could, all right, if you could grasp the level of death, the level of wasteness will be in the air. You know what I mean? Everywhere you look is our body lying on rotten because why? Starved to death, violence, you know what I mean? Something the scriptures talk about in Revelation, talking about the hour of temptation, it was 3 and 10, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Right? The hour of temptation will come on the whole world. Everybody's going to be in a position of what? Dependency. Right? They're going to need something to survive or think they need something to survive. And that is where the government is going to come in with the NWO, micro C-HIP, digital society, blah, 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 etc., etc. Sugarcoated to make it seem phenomenal. Oh my goodness, this is the best idea we had since baking bread. I don't know, but you know what I mean. People are going to wander after the beast. And that is what they're going to get caught up in because look what they're saying here. It's a food crisis, right? Pressure in somebody's food supply does dwindle the population, does weaken the infrastructure on a human level, I should say, or the manpower, I should say, for lack of better words. It does dwindle, you know. I think the next precept is second is just 15. Right. Second is just 15 and 19. As I say, just a short video, so we're going straight to the point. All right, it says, "A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy the houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. They already mentioned in the violence, the gang violence is a part of the problem. And going to get worse when they realize, hey, we could go in this neighborhood because this neighborhood is our part children neighborhood and hey, them go have, let me go there. And we deal with them dread. And then there's going to be pushback against the authorities because we know, hey, police is only for the high and mighty. Them just put a concept of the high and mighty. We all know that. Alright? I believe you all have age to know that shit now. But nevertheless, look at what it's leading to. This is going to happen. No, if no, but no, maybe. In Matthew 24, when you read on high up, the disciples asked Yahushua, what is the sign that you're coming at the end of the times? And he told them that nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom, famine, pestilence, you know what I mean? The end of days. That is the signs. But he said, what these is the beginning. So if this is just the beginning, half their population is already more than the population of this country. So if this is the beginning, imagine when it reach the center or the middle or the climax, whatever way they want to insert there. Just try to fathom it. Half your country and the beginning of sorrows, brother. We hit the climax of the sorrow yet. Just think about it. There is no better tomorrow. There is no tomorrow is going to no, it's going to be worse. The only better tomorrow we have is the day whenever that is that Yahushua returns. That is the only better day it have. And no better day than that. I know next year is we or next week is my week or tomorrow is my day and no bro. It's not yours. I could promise you that you have my word on that. As the YNs or as the foreigners I should say, does say. Put that on my map. Right? Tomorrow ain't yours. You know? Yeah, wish I do even know the day or the hour he will come back. And we don't know, but you know what he do? He said, look out for these things. You see these things happening? You know it's on its way. You sure it's on its way. Habakkuk 2 and verse 2, I believe. You know, it will not tarry, it will surely come to pass. All right? And get my final precept I jotted on here. And this is the dread, or this is the horrible thing about hunger or starvation or food crises or famines. Pestilence could also bring a famine, though catch no kicks. All right, the Lamentations 4 and 9, it says, they that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger, for these pine away, stricken through for the want of the fruit of the field. All right, for the want of the fruit of the field. Google pine away and see what come up. All right, waste. This is waste away in layman terms, or in other synonyms. Waste away. The antonyms of pine away is what? Flourish, prosper, thrive, all these good things. So you know when somebody say you will pine away, it's the opposite, decrease, not increase. In health and so on and so forth. You're withering, literally you're withering away. You suffer, you're going to suffer. Yeah? So as pertaining to Revolution, let me see if I can get a Revolution 3 and 10. It's supposed to be this up, if I remember correctly. Lovely. Right? It says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Yeah. And we ain't even there. And look what's going on. So imagine how drastic or how much more worse it's going to get for the hour temptation to come upon the earth. For men to say, bye, should that and I have to take this thing, but I can't take this no more. You understand? This is just the beginning, guys. This is just the beginning. Trust me, there is more. There is worse. Alright, so I hope it was edifying. I hope it sparked food for thought among the Akim watching and listening. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Hashem, Kakodash. Until next time, Shalom.